Joining us on the phone right now is Lynette Letterman. She was a former president of Tree of Life Synagogue. And Lynette, I can only imagine what you are going through tonight.
Good afternoon, Susan and Ken. Yes, this is quite a horrific and sick set of circumstances. Our Tree of Life family is truly hurting. It's a very tight-knit community of older people and an influx of young families. So like I said, the Tree of Life family is really hurting tonight.
Have you been able to reach out to members of the various congregations and to check on everybody?
Well, we've gotten a lot of official information over the course of the afternoon, particularly because there's always great concern about the security of all Jewish institutions when there is activity like not like this, but anything like this, any kind of anti-Semitic or hate crimes or anything that threatens ethnic people.
Well, the shooting that left at least 11 people dead at a Pittsburgh synagogue is now being investigated as a hate crime. A law enforcement source said that the gunman reportedly shouted anti-Semitic slurs as he was shooting. If you look at his online activity, he posted anti-Semitic threats and conspiracy theories. Just in the weeks before Saturday's shooting, one of his targets was HIAS. It's a nonprofit organization that provides humanitarian aid and assistance to refugees. Mark Hetfield, the group CEO, joins me now by phone. Mark, tell us a little bit about your organization and what you believe his rhetoric towards this organization was.
Sure. Thanks, Rena. So HIAS is the oldest refugee organization in the world. We were started at the end of the 19th century to welcome Jewish refugees to the United States. And we've since transformed into being an organization that helps all refugees of all faiths and ethnicities on behalf of the American Jewish community. We say that we used to welcome refugees because they were Jewish, and today we welcome refugees because we are Jewish.
That don't make no sense.
And so we do this in partnership with the U.S. government and with local community agencies around the country, including Jewish Family and Community Services in Pittsburgh, which is one of our partners. We also help refugees overseas and try to keep them safe where they are.
Mark, when you heard that your organization was mentioned by this suspect, what went through your mind?
I mean, I'm still in a state of shock, and I'm having a really difficult time coming to terms with it, and I can't stop thinking about what these people in the synagogue in the Tree of Life must have experienced when he invaded them, and his hatred toward HIAS and toward Jews and toward refugees. I mean, what we see is that hateful people don't tend to hate just one group. They tend to hate many, and this one decided he hated Jews, he hated refugees, and God knows who else he hated, and there's just too much space now in our society for hate speech and for haters.
Yeah, Mark, I want to ask you, has your organization, has HIAS, received any other threats? Was this a surprise when you heard about this?
Well, we've certainly had our detractors for quite some time who don't believe in our mission of welcoming refugees to this country, but obviously nothing at this scale before.
We heard from the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, today saying that this is likely the deadliest attack on Jews in this country, in U.S. history. It comes at a time when hate crimes are on the rise nationally for the last few years. Have you been gaining that sense that hate crimes, do you see an uptick in that? Do you feel it within your organization?
Well, I mean, you know, the sad thing is our mission is to protect refugees, and refugees, by definition, are people who flee hate. I mean, that's why they come here, is to find safety and sanctuary from hate. And certainly, we're seeing an uptick in this worldwide. There are more refugees and displaced persons in the world now than ever before because of this surge in hate. And in this country, we're seeing a surge in hate speech and a tolerance of hateful speech. And that's what bothers me the most, is that this person was on social media attacking Jews, attacking refugees, attacking Hayes, and he got away with it, and it led to this.
I want to send our apologies to you and your organization. What an incredible day it has been for this country, where people just gathered. 11 people killed simply trying to express and practice their faith in this country. Mark, before I let you go, I want to ask, what is your advice to people, whether they attend a temple, a mosque, or a church? How do you protect yourself?
Well, I mean, we all have a role to play. We all have to, when we see someone spouting off something that's hateful, we have to call it out. We have to stand up to it. We have to report it. We can't look the other way and say, oh, that's just our crazy uncle. I mean, we have to address it in our families and in our communities. And when we see it, we have to act on it. It's just spun out of control, and we all have a role to play in this. We have to also go out of our way, to welcome the other, and not to act afraid, and certainly not to act hateful.
Mark Hetfield, I want to thank you very much with Hayes. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark.
Thank you, Rena.
You bet.
Lynette, when you were the president of the congregation, was security something that was discussed with any specificity with regard to securing entrances during services? I mean, I know that during the high holidays, it's common to see police officers directing traffic, just keeping an eye on things. But for a typical Saturday morning service, did it ever occur to you, was it ever discussed when you were in charge of the congregation that maybe your current situation wasn't secure enough?
Yes, that's certainly something that we've always thought about. And unfortunately, I was president during 9/11, and so it was a priority. One of our congregants currently, and he's an officer of our congregation, is a member of the Pittsburgh Police Department and on the emergency management response team, a very competent officer. And he's been in charge lately of securing or creating and securing the building in a different format than we've ever done before, just because of the climate in this country. And they have been working hand in hand with Homeland Security, and I believe just completed a walkthrough of this building last week. And so we're moving towards initiatives to further secure the building.